Hey, fantasy basketball owners, I'm Michael Pichan. This is Tom Lorenzo of RotoExperts.com. We're here to bring you the must have sleepers and busts at the center position. So, Tom, who are your first two must haves? I know one of them's easy.
Easy. Got to go with Dwight Howard, especially head-to-head format. Dwight Howard dominates. He's one of the only guys in the league who can lead the league in rebounds and blocks. He can shoot in the higher 50% from the floor. He can average 20 points a game, even adds a steal, over a steal per game. Of course, the problem, the dreaded free throw percentage. But in head-to-head format, you can punt a category and still win your league. You can even build off that category if need be. It's not like you have to punt it. And Roto, it's a little tougher, but he's falling into the second round if you're playing Roto leagues. And if for some reason, think about this, you were able to pair him up with Kevin Durant, combining those two guys' free throw percentages and attempts from last season, they combined to shoot 74.6% from the free throw line. That's a good start. So if you're lucky enough to pair those two, don't be afraid. Head to head, he's up there, third, fourth pick. Gotta love Dwight Howard. Uh,
I was just going to say, I think that's wishful thinking of getting Kevin Durant and Dwight
it
Howard on
is.
the same team.
It is. I've seen him drop in roto leagues down to the end of the second round, which is a little nuts, but
A lot of it's because of the field goal or free throw percentage.
free throw percentage. A lot of guys don't like to go into that having a deficiency like that with the free throw percentage because if you're playing in a 12-man league and you think you're going to lose free throw percentage, you're only going to get that 1 point as opposed to the 12 points that you want. So, roto leagues, it is. It's probably near impossible. But if you can't pair it, it's just an example of how you can build on a guy like Dwight Howard's free throw percentage.
No, if Dwight Howard's gone. Who's another center that you're looking at grabbing?
Another center I'm looking at grabbing is Brook Lopez, guy who can go for 20 points, 10 rebounds, gets a block and a half per game, can even get above a block and a half per game. But what you love about Brook Lopez are his efficiency from the line and from the floor. He can shoot 55% from the floor as probably a ceiling, but he's closer down to that lower 50s. But what you love is that he can shoot in the low 80% from the free throw percentage, from the free throw line. He's a guy who's kind of more along the lines of a younger Yao Ming, that efficient big, high field goal percentage, high free throw percentage. You love the percentages from your center.
Yeah, not to jinx him, but a healthy Yao Ming too.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, no, Brook Lopez is definitely a stud in the making. One of the things that I like about Dwight Howard though is he seems to have wanted to take his game to the next level. He worked out with Hakeem Olajuwon this summer, and I'm curious to see what's the difference between a mercenary and a ninja. Because Hakeem said he wanted him to be
Right.
more of a mercenary than a ninja, and I guess the one thing I can take it from it is that it seems like Dwight Howard, if you're going to go with the ninja analogy, somewhat is kind of stealth in that he only shoots on an average around 10 times per game,
Right.
and that's not something you want with your center. So if I was leaning between Dwight Howard and Lopez, I'd probably go with Brook Lopez for the simple fact that he's going to have to shoot on the Nets team for the Nets to be successful. But if you can't get Dwight Howard or Brook Lopez, another center to get is David Lee. This guy is a double double machine. Although he's moved out to Golden State, it's not much difference than what
No.
he experienced with the Knicks.
No, it's not. And another thing, I mean, the pace is going to be quick. They're going to put up a ton of shots. Golden State puts up a ton of shots between Stephen Curry, Monta Ellis. We talked about Darrell Wright in our small forward preview. So they're going to put up a lot of shots. So rebound opportunities are going to be there for David Lee, and he's going to be a guy who can still put up that 2010, even 2012. And he gets steals, and he may not block a lot of shots, but he gets his steals.
Yeah, he's a hustler with a lot of talent. And one thing that I'm looking forward to with the Golden State offense, with the addition of Keith Smart's going to take a page out of Jerry Sloan's book this year and implement the pick and roll. And we've already seen it in the preseason, which is only going to help David Lee because, yeah, he has good points in that in an up tempo system. But teams are going to force Golden State to play
Right.
a slow down game. And with Keith Smart implementing this pick and roll offense, it's only going to help David Lee's production, especially in scoring. So I look for him to have a huge year, similar, if not better, than he had last year. And another guy that doesn't get a lot of notoriety, surprisingly, and he was a top 15 roto guy last year, was Al Horford. I mean, this guy's a stud. He's averaged 14.2 points a game, 9.9 blocks, 2.3 assists, and around one steal, one block a game. So he's a stat sheet
Yeah.
filler. And like I said, doesn't get the notoriety, so you probably be able to grab him maybe late first round, early second round if you're lucky.
Yeah, no, he absolutely he's a guy who doesn't get a lot of notoriety, puts up big numbers, just efficient, just goes out, plays hard, gets his numbers, not kind of a flashy guy, but you love that he's out there playing. Joe Johnson usually gets most of the attention there, but he's kind of trending towards that downslide. Josh Smith there gets a lot of attention, but just Al Horford just kind of goes under the radar, so you can get him at good value.
Yeah, good talent on that team, and it's starting with Al Horford. I think he's the rock of that team
Yeah.
and makes that team go. Now, two sleepers to look for on your part, Tom. Who would they be?
Two sleepers I'm looking at. One is Serge Ibaka in Oklahoma City. He was a guy who came on really strong in the second half of last season and into the playoffs against the Lakers, that great playoff series. He played limited minutes, played about 24, 25 minutes, but still averaged 1.3 blocks and 5.4 rebounds. Could has a tough time scoring. He's kind of one of those garbage scorers, but he still gets in the mid to high 50 percentage from the field goal. His per 36 numbers were just amazing last season. It was 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 2.6 blocks. So he's a guy who can give you lots of blocks, lots of rebounds, and a high field goal percentage. And he's going in the last few rounds. So, look for him in those last few rounds, and he's good value there in the last few rounds.
Yeah, he gets lost in the mix on that team. Who's another sleeper that you're eyeing?
Another guy I'm really high on is Roy Hibbert, Indiana Pacers. Without Troy Murphy there, Hibbert's coming in, going to get more opportunity off the glass. Troy Murphy was a great rebound, so Hibbert's going to get some opportunity to get some rebounds there off the glass. Just this past week against the Houston Rockets, a preseason game, he had 16 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 blocks. He's has long arms, can block shots. Going in that kind of 8th to ninth round, so later rounds. As the season draws near, he's probably going to move up a few slots in the draft boards, but he's definitely great value going towards the end of the round.
Well, you mentioned one of my sleepers, a guy that doesn't get a lot of respect, is Troy Murphy. He's proving to be consistent over the years now, and he's averaged almost two threes a game, which is huge for a big man. It's somebody you want to be able to extend the defense, and Troy Murphy brings that. He can score down low, he can score outside. So he's another person I'm eyeing to get as a sleeper. Another guy is LaMarcus Aldridge. One thing that concerns me about Aldridge is he put on 20 pounds, and that didn't work well for Odin, but hopefully it'll work well for Aldridge. But we know he'll get the playing time, and he averaged 18 points and 8 boards the last 3 years. And one of the reasons he'll get the playing time is for the talent, but also because of the injuries in Portland. And I don't want you to laugh on this one, but the people that'll be laughing are the people that don't get this guy late in the draft is Darko Milicic. People don't understand how young this kid was when they drafted him. He was from a different country. The transition that's involved in coming from another country, being that young, 18 years old, but he was drafted in 2003. Now, this is the reason I'm targeting him as a sleeper, because once he's got 30 minutes, he's averaged almost 10 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 2.1 blocks.
Yeah,
So this kid has the potential. One of the reasons he was drafted so high. But like so many fans, they become fickle and want production immediately.
right.
Well, this is the year for Darko to start producing on a more consistent rate, and you're going to be able to get him way late in the draft just because of his name.
Yeah, and the thing with Darko at this moment is he's on a team now that maybe has lowered their expectations for him, and that's a good thing because I think he had a lot of pressure on him. Think about it. He went in that draft after LeBron James. He went ahead of Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. So he had all these really high expectations on him. So I think now he's in a situation, Minnesota. He doesn't have to be the lead guy. He doesn't have to turn into a player who's like LeBron, Dwayne, Bosh. He's not going to be that player, but he can turn into a really effective player if he gets rid of that pressure. He doesn't have that pressure on him. So I think he'll have a better season this year.
Yeah, and like I said, when he's gotten the 30 minutes, he's produced lately, and I think that's the key. Like you
Right.
said, not as much pressure anymore, and he's showing that he can perform. Now, who are two of your busts? Two of the people that you want to stay away from as a fantasy owner?
Yeah, two guys I'm staying away from. One is Chris Kaman. I liked Kamen last season, had a nice season, but he's a guy who has injury concerns. He's had struggles staying on the court. He played 76 games last season. That was nice, but the season before he only played 36 games, so he has some injury concerns around him. The other thing is that the Clippers are going to really pick up the pace this season. They've got fast guys. I mean, Baron Davis, of course, still there. Eric Gordon's picking up the pace, and you've got Blake Griffin now. So Blake Griffin's going to be there, picking up the pace, playing a lot of the minutes in the middle. Maybe stealing some rebounds, stealing some touches in the middle. So Chris Kamen's a guy who's probably going a little too high for my taste. The second guy is Andrew Bynum. Andrew Bynum just cannot stay healthy. He's already out till sometime mid December. So you're going to already miss a month and a half, about maybe even longer, of Andrew Bynum. He hasn't played more than 65 games in each of the last 3 seasons. So he's coming in, coming out, getting injured. There's just too many injury concerns with him. And when you have Paul Gasol in the middle and you've got a guy like Lamar Odom, they're not going to rush back Bynum because still they believe that Bynum's their future. So he's going to come slowly, and I just wouldn't take the shot on him.
Yeah, with big men, that's the number one thing is injury concerns. And although Kaman does have some talent, I think he's going to lose some playing time to Blake Griffin, like you said. And two of the guys that are my busts at the center position are people that are already experiencing injuries, and that's Carlos Boozer. Although he has a lot of talent, he's going to a new team, already hurt, out for a while. And the same with Mehmet Okur. He's returning of like an Achilles injury. And the larger you are, the bigger you are, anything with the feet makes it
Right.
a longer path back. And I think that these people like Okur and Booth are people to stay away from. Okur mainly because of the injuries and getting older. He's already 31.
Right.
Boozer because he's still going to be drafted high in drafts. Even though he's
Sure.
injured, people still pick him a lot based on notoriety or his
Right.
past performances. But these are people you want to stay away from. Well, I'm Michael Pichan of RotoExperts, and this is Tom Lorenzo of RotoExperts.com. Visit us for some more Roto clips as you get ready for your NBA drafts. Also, visit RotoExperts.com and get some of Tom's articles on the NBA, including his rankings in head-to-head and roto leagues. And also follow us post-draft as we keep you up to date with insight and analysis at RotoExperts.com.